Hello, my name is Babur. I'm a senior student in High University in Tashkent. I just want to ask some few questions. So, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, my name is Rustam Kamber, and I'm a junior student at Urgen State University. I also
hmm
teach English as my part-time job.
Okay, great. I just want to ask you a question about the printing. How often do you use the printing services in your daily basis?
Honestly, I don't have a printer in my at my house, so I basically rely on printing service on a daily basis.
hmm
Sometimes I have my students print handouts, worksheets, and I also use it to print teachers' books when instructing my students during the
hmm
lessons. So basically, I would say every other day I use printing services.
Well, great. What is the main purpose of using it? So you mentioned a couple of reasons. Yes, I get it, but what is the main reason that you uh, use this
Um,
service?
Obviously, it's for educational purposes, and
Hmm?
other than that, I also use it, as I mentioned earlier, I use it when teaching English. So I use it basically, most importantly for educational purposes, and second, I use it for my work. So this is how I make a living.
hmm Great. So the next question that I'm gonna ask you is, what are the problems if you have faced with the service, I mean, printing service, what are the problem? What are the odds you faced? Because you mentioned that you use the service a lot in your daily basis, and I think you have a few kind of drawbacks or the some cases that you felt um, what not satisfied with the service. What are the indications that you can mention?
Um, Drawbacks, bad experiences.
hmm
I have had them a lot. Sometimes printers turn out to be glitchy. So when I have um, those people at printing places, they when they print textbooks and handouts, it kind of looks inky. So I mean, they don't do their work, their job professionally. And second of all, sometimes it's very time consuming because you have to wait a lot. Take your line in the queue and just wait for a long time. So which always time consuming. And finally, I would say it's sometimes very expensive.
hmm
That's why I think it's too expensive for someone who is living on a budget, um, daily expenses. So I would say, well, I think the price wise it's okay though, but even if let's say printing staff they do their job professionally and efficiently, I would say I wouldn't really mind the price itself. So the most notable disadvantage would be quality of printing.
Okay, I get it. Great experience, I mean, in a poor side, by the way. The question that I want to ask you is how often do you use the Telegram Messenger?
Messenger,
Yeah,
Telegram.
yeah, Telegram Messenger.
I use it almost every day. I
hmm
would say
Do you have an access to use it every day? I mean, do you have your mobile traffic or something like Wi-Fi or?
I have access to my personal Wi-Fi at
hmm
home, so I have a router, and yeah, most of
hmm
the time I spend my time at home, sitting, spending time with my family, and preparing materials for my students. So basically, I'm at home. Yes.
hmm Um, So I gave the question because we've been developing the service or we can say, to help for the customers that are really seeking, I mean, the opportunity that can be changed in the sphere of the printing services, because as you mentioned that, it's kind of time consuming process that you can waste a lot of time, wasting, especially in your cases, because you're not only using the service, not only for your only studies, right? But you also teach students, you also, you educate them, and you use, different variety of services. I'm like, we've been developing an application the service that really eases the usage of the printing service itself. And what I'm really gonna tell you by this is we're developing by with our team members that it is going to be something online, because we've seen a dramatic change, especially due to the COVID, right? So a lot of the work processes have turned into virtual ones. So we've been thinking about it to make a printing service online rather than doing this in a traditional way, because uh, using the method, traditional way, it's kind of complicated for you to time consuming if you're in a different place. Perhaps you can not only travel, but you can go in a different means of transportation. Like, not only it's time consuming, but also it take, you spend your money, right? It's in terms of an, budget. So we've been planning the application that the users can use in terms of the online service. So how you're gonna do is you're gonna mm, you're gonna send the file that you're gonna print through the Telegram Messenger, like we're created, and what we can say Telegram bots. So you can find our iService and look for it from the Telegram, and you can send it. So it's protected, I mean, everything is confidential regarding your personal documents or educational, whatever it might be. So so once you send the document, we receive, and we prepare it based on the day you mentioned, because it's Telegram bot works in a way that you plan the date. Let's say you're planning to copy, or you're planning to make this thing. Let's say in a 10 minutes, right? Or for the next week, right? Perhaps if you're a business person, you'll be planning to meet with a business professionals, right? For the next meeting, you might be having a meeting with them. So we're doing this so you can send your document that is going to be that is going to be printed by the Telegram by using Telegram bot, and that's the easy the idea of how what we're doing. Okay, so what we're really planning, I mean, in more deep terms, like we're working on the different functionality of itself, because we're not going to print this thing, because we're not gonna be sitting in a central place, right? We are having different branches, like wherever it might be. Let's say if you have a let's say location right near to your home, let's say copy paste location, we send your document to them, and once they receive it, so they can copy by uh, let's say
You mean like any region? Horizon, Tashkent?
yes, I mean
Okay. So
uh,
you guys do outsourcing, right? Not only Tashkent, but also other regions.
Yes, I mean, we're not just in a central base.
Uh-huh.
Our application is, it's a central based application. So we
Uh-huh.
get your document, and we send
Yeah.
those documents to different locations that the just copy, just printing location that are
Uh-huh.
set near to your location. Let's say if you're in, you mentioned that you study in Urgench, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna find a location that is near to your university. Let's say we might have different locations. Like 1 kilometer nearby, or 500 meters near, and we're gonna choose the nearest location that you might be. And once we
uh-huh,
receive it, we send to that person who really copies, who really who really prints the document. And once
uh-huh,
they done, once you mentioned your selected time, you can go there and you can pick your things up. So what I'm really thinking, gonna tell you in very deep terms, right? So we're also implementing this complex, the functionality of the system, because as I mentioned that it's kind of simple and very easy, quick, a handmade thing that anybody can share their document, and they can be printed very easily. And in terms of complexity, so we're gonna add different functions. Let's say you're not only gonna send only the documents, but we're also developing the web application that you can log in and that you can create your own document. Let's say if you're assigned a document, let's say by your university professors, if you're assigned a document to create or make happen, like you can log into our system, like our website, and you can do the multiple tasks on there. So you can type, you can you can you can upload an image to your document, you can
uh-huh,
draw, you can do anything you want, you can put different elements. Let's say, think about in terms of PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a tool that that really helps you to create a presentation, right? So
uh-huh,
it's kind of like, mm, it's kind of PowerPoint like application. The functionality kind of bit similar to it, because you can add elements, right? The circle, triangle, square, and you can add text. You can input. You can upload your images. You can create a text. Whatever it might be. So in deep term, in complex terms. So we're planning this huge, this giant centralized system. So
uh-huh,
if you have any questions, I'm really um, thrilled
uh-huh.
to get
So,
from you.
speaking of your service and how, um, you know, user friendly that is, do you guys provide did like discounts for regular
Users.
customers? Yes.
Yes, we've been thinking about this term, like given a discount, because it's really important to appreciate the customer that is loyal, that has
Mm-hmm.
been keeping their showing their integrity for the firm, right? Let's say if you've
Uh-huh.
been sticking with the company, sticking with the firm, let's say more than a 6 months, we really appreciate you, and we give you a discount for up to 15%. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so once it's over, like if you still continue the process for the next 6 more months, so it's going to be 1 year, right? So you'll be able to get the 20% of the 20% of the total discount, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the more you work with us, the more discounts you get. That's
Uh-huh.
um that's the system, how it really works.
Mm-hmm. And given the fact that your service that you provide that is like 100% online, and um, how would how quickly would that sound if, let's say, I'm gonna order to print two textbooks and in colorful form. Let's
Hmm.
say now I'm sitting on a lecture now in my university, and I want my textbooks to be printed right after 2 hours. Like how quickly you guys would perform that order, and
So
how long would that be taking for me to get that pack or to get my order?
okay, so it's a really interesting question, because we already thought about the process, because we're solving we're solving the problem time consumption, right? So in terms of your question, so yes, as I mentioned, that we're gonna find a nearest location that the copies that that prints those documents, and when we send to them. So once you're able to, let's say if you're sending your document, let's say two textbooks, right? Two textbooks. So two textbook is gonna take less than, I can say, 45 minutes. Let's say 30 minutes, right? So you can get your two textbooks ready by 30 minutes. Sorry, 30 minutes.
Hmm. Okay.
And as I
Yeah, that's
mentioned, that you're gonna choose the time. You're gonna choose
okay.
I mean, the time that really fits to you. Let's say
Yeah.
there are some cases, there are some cases that you cannot lead the lesson. Perhaps you might be sending those documents during the lesson, but you're not able to live because you have to be present during the lesson, right? So you can get the textbook by, let's say, by 2 p.m. when your lesson is over, right? So you're gonna mention the time, and by that time, the textbooks are gonna be ready for your service.
So you mean the price will actually fluctuate or may fluctuate depending on um, how quickly the service I should be choosing, right?
Yes, yes, it really depends on your time.
Okay. Hmm.
So do you
Yeah.
have any more questions?
Not for now. Not for now. So far, it sounds cool, and it's really, I would say, user friendly, and it doesn't take that much time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it means you know um, the demand of quite a lot of young people these days. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, perfectly a match for all of
Okay.
us.
So if you can think of any problem that you uh, that you thought of when I presented the presentation, right? What it would be?
Problem.
Yes.
Um,
In our from our presentation, from my presentation, from our service.
I don't really have any problem right now. Like so far, what you have said to me sounds quite I would say doable thing, and also quite um I would say
There should be one. Yeah, there should be
yeah.
one. I mean, we're a human
I
being. We
was
make mistakes. I mean, come
I
on.
was thinking about the price itself, like how much would it cost, given that all these services would actually take time and quite actually take the effort of step collaborating. So yeah, I was thinking about the price itself.
So the price is not going to be that much high because you might be thinking
Uh-huh.
like, oh my gosh, they're solving time consumption problem. They're solving this perhaps the budget because I myself wasted couple of thousands of Zooms when I was doing this stuff, with my friends. We used to take the bus when we had this 5 p.m. deadline from a professor, Nasir,
Hmm.
and we had to go on time and submit it in person, right? So
Yeah.
when we go to the near locations, those the printing locations, they were really gathered with so much people, so many people, and we're going to the different places, right? Which was kind of a bit far, but it was not gonna take much time. And in that time, we took bus, we took, let's say, taxi, other means of transportation, which cost us a couple thousands of Zooms, so
Uh-huh.
it's going to be less than you're thinking of.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds all
Let's
right.
say five, let's say five to, let's say, 10% might be higher than the traditional one, but it's gonna
Uh-huh.
save your time, and it's gonna save your financial costs that you can spend by means of kind of any transportation.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sounds sounds cool.
Okay, so I'd be really happy to have you on our application soon once we launch it.
Yeah, looking
Uh,
forward. Yeah,
okay, so I wish you to be our loyal customer, right?
yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.